Good morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross-stitch, but other crafts that I like to do, and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is my FlossTube number 95, and it is Sunday, May 30th. Tomorrow, May 31st, is Memorial Day here in the US. So I have a 3-day weekend, which is nice because I'm trying to do a lot of cleaning and straightening in my apartment, and I have a friend coming over tomorrow, so that is good incentive for me to try and get some of the pigsty-ness of my studio toned down a little bit. But I am looking forward to having another day off of work because last week was difficult. And anyway, welcome. If you haven't been to my channel before, then I hope that you like what you see and want to hit like and subscribe and come back and join me every week. And for those of you who are regular viewers, thank you so much for coming back. I feel like it is a little bit dark in here today. Normally when I film, I usually, most of the time I do it on Sunday mornings. Today's no exception. And I have a window right here and I always have it open, and that adds a lot of natural light into my videos. And it is so gray today and dark that it's not giving me any natural light. So it's all like the 2 ring lights I have, and I just feel like it's really dark. It's still kind of early here. It's almost 9. But usually, yeah, obviously it looks like it's gonna rain, but it's still hot and muggy. It's been really hot this past week. So I don't know, the weather's being weird today. But that is what it is. Okay, so first things first, I want to give a big thank you to Stacy Hall for buying me a coffee last week. She used the link that you can find below if you're on your phone or on the computer, the buy me a coffee link. I think at this point people pretty much know what it is. It's just a way that if you are interested, you can go in and give a little bit of monetary appreciation to people who have the link, and I have it. So thank you so much, Stacy. I really appreciate when I get those. It's very fun for me to get that little notification that somebody sent me a coffee. And again, it is not anything that's required, but I do really appreciate it, and thank you so much. So as I alluded to, my office last week, which I've been saying we've been planning a move for quite a while. We actually did it. So we scheduled the movers for Thursday. I had already kind of like packed like the bottom of my drawers and that kind of thing. I refused to do the top because my boss, as nice as he is, he sometimes is just a little bit, because he has assistants, he doesn't have to do things himself. So he doesn't always like realize that sometimes what he's asking is a little bit unrealistic. So it's like, yeah, we're moving, but you know, if a client calls or if a client asks for something, you still need to do it, which is great. I can't do that if everything's in a box. So I kind of held off, and I didn't actually pack like the top of my desk till right before the movers were going to get there. So we did actually do the physical move on Thursday. Now, he still owns the building that we were in. So, and in fact, he's still going to be using that to meet with clients for probably the whole summer because the new office that we got. So the situation is actually we're moving back to a building that we were in 10, 11 years ago. But before, it was like rental or leasing suites, and that's where we were. And my boss had decided that he wanted to own his own building, and at that time live work places were really popular, and that's the kind of thing where it's actually like a condo, and like the top couple floors are your residence, and then the bottom floor there is like a very small sort of office room with an attached bathroom and stuff. And it's meant for kind of like one person, like architects or CPAs or somebody who might have like one client come in at a time, but it's a small, you know, one person business. So Joe did that and actually use the bottom floor for a conference room to meet with clients. But then on the second, well, the third level was bedrooms, and he and his family lived there during the week. They also have a home in Pasadena, but while his daughter was in high school, she was going to school near the office, so they lived there during the week. And then the second floor, where there's a kitchen and what would be the living dining space, the living dining space became the office space for me and my co-worker, and there's a small bedroom, and that's where Joe had his office. And then of course there's a bathroom and stuff. So we kind of like took over that second floor. I mean, the kitchen was still a kitchen. And, you know, and then the third floor is where they had their bedrooms. So in the past year, his daughter is in college. It's not needed as much as a sort of weekly residence place. So that he decided that, kind of because he feels like he's in the last phase of his career. I mean, we're all in our 50s, so, you know, the last phase could last another 30 years, but he decided he wanted to be back in a more traditional office space. And the building that we had been in before, which we liked and which was, you know, centrally located and everything, was now condo offices, so you can purchase your own office. So he went ahead and we got a small office in that building that we had been in before. So our clients who have been with us for a while already know where the building is and everything. We're just on the first floor instead of the second floor. So anyway, so we moved, got the furniture and everything moved. And then yesterday, well, not yesterday, Friday, I was starting to unpack and set up my computers and that kind of thing. And we were trying to get the phone system set up, all the fun stuff that you have with moving an office. So needless to say, Thursday was a really long day, and Friday was a really tiring day. And so, yeah, so it's been kind of a tiring week as far as work goes. It has affected my stitching a little bit. Thursday, I didn't do anything. I got home and I crashed because I got home, like, it was almost 8 o'clock by the time I got home, and which is not usual for me. I ate some dinner and just kind of plopped on the couch. Earlier in the week, I had another night that I was a little bit tired and just ended up not doing any stitching. I think I had done some other crafty stuff earlier in the evening, and then didn't feel like stitching, so I just didn't stitch. And yeah, so when I was doing my notes for the video today, I thought, oh, maybe I won't have that much stitching. I still do. I still have a really nice amount, but I did not stitch as much as I have been because of the office move. I don't really have a lot of other stuff to talk about as far as, you know, personal life. I mean, the weather, like I said, it's really hot last week. It was in the 90s or close to 90s almost every day. And today, as I said, it feels really muggy. It looks really gross outside. I haven't actually been out, so I don't know what the temperature is out there right now, but it just, it doesn't look nice. But I think maybe we're approaching the June gloom, which happens a lot actually in Southern California, that sort of June gloom where the mornings are kind of gray and muggy and overcast, and then it burns off by the afternoon. I think it has to do with the ocean something coming in and having to burn off. I don't know, but it does get to be quite like that in the sort of early June time period. I am going to be preparing this whole month for vacation at the very beginning of July, so that is something I'm totally looking forward to, and I will probably mention several times until I go and do a vacation vlog. So anyway, let's get on to the stitching this week. May not be a huge long video, but then I say that and I talk too much and it ends up being the same amount of time it always is. So okay, I didn't have any new starts or finishes last week. I continued on my sort of Cat Mania focus projects. I did really well on that. I didn't stitch. There's certain things that I put on my list that I didn't stitch on as much as I said I would, and some things I was really into and stitched on more, but that's fine. I use these things as a guide and not a hard and fast rule. So I don't have any new stitches. Finishes, I'm so close. Like, I probably will finish it within an hour after I get off of this video while I'm waiting for it to upload. but I got so close on Moonstruck, which is a Mill Hill, and I'm looking for something to put behind it. And so the beading is right there, and there's a little bit right here that needs to be done. And other than that, it is finished. I even put the little bird on last night with his little broken tail. And I am super, super excited to get this finished. And I tried yesterday. As I said, I've been doing some spring cleaning because I have a friend coming over tomorrow. So in between, I'm also trying not to exhaust myself because I tend to do that. Like, somebody's coming over, I panic, I need to clean everything. And I'm not a good housekeeper. I'm putting that out there right now. But then I'll try and do a bunch of cleaning and end up like my back starts hurting. And by the time the person comes over, I have no fun with them because all I want to do is just lay down and because my body hurts. So I'm trying really hard to get a good amount of stuff done so that I feel comfortable having somebody come over, but at the same time, not killing myself. So I was really kind of like sitting down doing stitching, and then I do some work, and then sitting down doing stitching. And I tried to really, you know, listen to my body kind of thing. But I was trying really hard to get this done, and I got close, but not quite. So plans for this, how I'm going to fully finish it. This is kind of my one piece of haul. I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to frame it or whatever. And I thought it'd be cool to like put it on a box. And I have a couple wooden boxes. Here I have one that it would have fit on the lid, etc. They're unfinished. I would have had to paint it. I didn't feel like doing that. So I looked on Amazon and I found like actually a really inexpensive, like $6 cardboard box, like gift box that would have worked. But I would have had to put it on the top of the box or put the box on its side to display it to the front. And I don't know, it wasn't sparking it for me. And then I saw this, which is a little ceramic base. It will hold like a 6-inch pot. And I thought that that would be perfect. So at first I was thinking I would glue it on and maybe put a little trimmer on the edge. And then I was thinking about it yesterday and I realized that I actually do kind of want to put a plant in this. Probably a succulent. Because I'm less likely to kill a succulent. But if I have a plant in it and I want to, you know, and there's any water involved, I didn't want the stitching to get wet and hurt. So I thought what I would do is kind of do the magnet thing where you glue the magnets and then, you know, just put this on. But I think it's gonna look real nice because it's gonna fit really nicely. And then of course, if I do it the magnet way and I do other Mill Hills that are other seasons, not quite, I mean this one is, it's actually not that seasonal. It's kind of Halloween, fall looking, but it could really be anytime. And I like cats, so but I could switch it out, or I could put other stitches on other sides of it. But that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do with it. So, and as I said, this is my only piece of haul this week. And I actually got that last week, but didn't show it. Okay. So that was my almost a finish, but not quite. Okay, so other whips that I worked on this week. I worked on just a little bit on the Moon Fairy one that I started a couple weeks ago just because I wanted a silhouette type project. And I talked last week that I was thinking that I would put some blending filament in the wings, which I started, and I think it's going to look really pretty. And that's really all I did. I did this after my video last week. I started putting like a strand of blending filament in with the black silk to see how that would work. So this is part of what I wanted this for, is like, it's just a good fill in, you know, once I got the outline of the moon, and obviously I have to finish the fairy, but it's a small enough project that then I can just use it just to take with me and fill in when I'm at my brother's or something like that. It's just easy, and I wanted to use this piece of fabric. So I like how that turns out. I don't have it on my list for my for June, which is going to be Purple Passions, but because it's on this purple fabric, I could actually in good conscience work on that next month and not worry about it. Okay, so I had that one. Oh, I worked on Catnap Faye. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs Quick Stitch. This is by Nadia Tate. And I'm doing this on a 16 count Opal Aida. I think it's called Crystal Pool or something like that. Pictureless Plus. It's kind of a floppy Aida, so it makes it a little bit difficult to work on. But I'm not doing, I chose this fabric because I'm not doing the background. So I just did a tiny little bit right here, but it took a really long time actually, because this was a very, very confetti heavy section. And so yeah, it took a long time. But I'm definitely, this is a cat, little cat face. So. Okay, I worked on my Wind Moon Fairy. This is a Dimensions kit. The artist is Nene Thomas. So it was a kit, so it came with a gray, I think 16 count gray Aida, and it's almost full coverage, but the way, I guess it is full coverage, not almost, but the way dimension kits are, and this is the first dimension kit that I'm working on, they use a lot of different, so most of it would be regular full cross with 2 strands, but a lot of the background is tent stitch with 1, 2, or 3 strands depending on the color. And sometimes you'll have like the same color, but one symbol is 1 strand and another symbol is 2 strands. And then they also have some blended ones in both regular cross and tent stitch. So so in that way it's a little bit challenging. But I went over to, oops, upside down. So I started in the middle on this one, and then last time I was working on it, I showed you guys I went over to this side because they don't give you a ton of fabric. They really don't. I mean, this is less margin than I would normally leave, unless, you know, I really wanted a specific piece of fabric for something. But, you know, kits tend to be a little bit stingy with their supplies that they give you, so you have to be careful. Which is funny because kits will be like marketed as being, you know, something that a beginner would want to use, but a lot of kits are not very beginner because they don't allow for, you know, they don't allow a lot of margin, they don't give you extra floss. So, you know, there's some debate as to whether kits are a beginner thing or not. Anyway, so I had gone over to this side because I want to see how far it went over, and then last time I switched, I decided to go over to this side. I also went up. So there's two pages, and well, they're big pages, but one is the lower half and one is the upper half, and I was working on the lower half. But for this little section, I decided to go up and work on the top one. So, I mean, I realize it still doesn't look like anything. this part went kind of fast because it's that little section is 10 stitch. Part of it was with 3 strands, part of it was with 2 strands, but 10 stitch by its very nature is going to go faster than cross stitch because you're doing half of the stitches. And then the last whip that I worked on this past week is Kitty Magic, which is the Heaven and Earth design. It's still quick stitch, but it's a bigger quick stitch than typical that I started for this Cat Mania. Kitty Magic by Katerina Koukiotis. And it's still, I've said this every time I've showed it, still doesn't look like anything. It still just looks like a white triangle, just a bigger white triangle. Oops. So when I showed it to you last week, I had like half of the diagonal done. So I finished that diagonal and then started another little bit. And this bright white area, if you can see that, is that star, that big star that's in the corner. But you can see, so I'm using Rainbow Gallery on this, not Krynic, because I have Krynic on Lavender Roses, which I'm going to show you in a second because it's going to be a focus piece next month. I have the DMC, whatever that sparkly floss is that is awful, awful, awful. I have that on Cat Nat Faye, so I decided to try and use Rainbow Gallery on this one to see, you know, if I like one better, if, you know, one looks better, whatever. So I know I do not like the DMC one. I haven't tried, it's not the new Diamante. I haven't tried that. It's the older stuff, and I can't remember what it's called. But it's awful. Krynic and the Rainbow Gallery, so far, they stitch about the same to me. I think it's easier for me to thread the Rainbow Gallery on a needle, which is a big deal. So I end up with the Krynic, I use a bigger needle just for the Krynic parts because I cannot thread the Krynic on my typical 26 needles. So I'll use a 24 for the Krynic. This, the Rainbow Gallery, I'm not having a problem. So, anyway, so you can see it's all like Rainbow Gallery kind of up here. And then down here, it's getting into the very lightest gray. I think when I get to the end of this diagonal, there's like one stitch that's the next color gray, but that's going to be coming in. And I'm almost actually at the end of the first page. So when you stitch on, at least for me, when I stitch on the diagonal, obviously I don't have page finishes because I do go all the way down. So I'll end up doing, you know, one page and then moving to another page and then moving to the next page as I'm doing the diagonals. But this is almost at the end of the first page, at the top of the first page. So I will have to pull in a second page to work on. And I use the paper patterns, and I get the large size pattern because since I'm using the paper ones, they're just easier to see. My very first one, which is the Lavender Roses, I got actually from 123 Stitch, not from Heaven and Earth Designs, because I didn't know any better then. I didn't even know Heaven and Earth Designs was a thing. And that you get the regular one. And so of course I tried to make it bigger, which is just too much of a pain to try and make it bigger and then piece the pages together that are, well, yeah. I gave up on that and I'm just like suffering through with the smaller one. It's a small pattern, so I think it's only like six or 8 pages. Okay, so that was all of my whips for this week. And as I said, I don't have any haul. So let's just talk for a minute about June plans. As I have mentioned before, I've kind of started this whole year using kind of like a theme that I pick each month, and then I go through my whips and I pick, you know, 5 to 7 projects that kind of fit into that theme, and then I focus on those. And that doesn't mean that I can't pull out something else and stitch on it or start something new or whatever, but it's just a way for me to kind of like wrangle, I guess, the projects that I have, so that I can get a little bit of a good block done on those focus projects. Moonstruck was not on my May plans. I mean, it would have fit into my May plans because of Cat Mania. And originally when I had first like thought about doing the Cat Mania, it was on there, but then I took it off because I had other things that came in that I thought were more important, and I narrowed down the number that I was going to do because I realized if I had too many projects, then I would only be able to work on each one once, which I know a lot of people do. That's how they do Mania, but to me, I don't like that idea. I wanted to get a little bit more work done on each of the things. So this one kind of got bumped off the May list. I pulled it out, honestly, because I was on a Zoom call, sitting at my table here, and I thought, you know what, this would be, because at that point I thought all I had left to do was the beading, which is not 100% true. I still had some stitching to do on it, but it was mostly beading, so I pulled it out because I thought it would be a good time to work on the beading. And then when I realized I was so close to a finish, then I worked on it a couple times since then to try and get it done. So it was not originally supposed to be on May plans, but it kind of snuck its way into May. So okay, so plans for June. I have chosen a theme of Purple Passions. It has nothing to do with passions. It's a nice alliteration. And I decided to, because I do, like, I have a lot of things that are cat themed. I have a lot of things that have sort of a purple theme to them. So I thought I would pull all those out and tie those together in the month of June, and work on that. So one of the focus pieces is going to be my lavender roses, which you guys have seen a couple times in the last several weeks. I didn't work on it this week, but I will be working on it soon. So I think I mentioned last week when I pulled this out that stitch count wise I'm exactly like 2/3 done, but since I have turned the corner up here, and it's going to start feeling like it's going fast because the diagonals are going to start getting shorter, so I will, you know, be able to get through a diagonal faster. Once I finish with the cat, just like on this side, the cat is going to kind of be finished, and then there's going to be a big clump of the purple roses here. So yeah, so every time I pull this out, I get so many comments on it because these eyes are just amazing. And yeah, so I'm excited to work on that in the coming month. One of the reasons I actually chose the whole purple passion thing is because I want to get a finish on my counted canvas piece, which is Violet Nosegay, and I don't know where the picture is. It continues out in this vein, and it's very pretty, and it goes really fast, and I really like doing counted canvas. It's very soothing. But this has just been set aside because I've been working on other projects and I wanted a reason to bring it out. So Purple Passions in June is the reason to bring it out. And I do not think I will have a problem getting a finish on this. Another reason I would like to get it finished so is that I can dismantle it, because this is just big, and it didn't need stretcher bars this big. It actually needed ones that were like this big, but I didn't have those and I had these. So, yeah, so I may do, but it's kind of big and unwieldy, and I want to get it done and off the stretcher bars. What I will then do with it, I don't know. I haven't decided yet on what I'm going to do with the Purple Passions. Probably maybe just frame it. Oh, maybe that's why I got this frame. I got this frame, and I noticed it sitting here the other day. And I think that maybe I got it for that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Who knows what I do, why I do what I do. Okay. Let's see. So Violet Nosegay, okay, Night Walk Down. Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. And this fits in partly because of just the feeling of it, which is sort of the purple twilight feeling of the piece in general. And partly because I actually did dye the fabric for it myself, and it is a gorgeous lavender color. It's on a linen, an opalescent linen. Linen is not my favorite thing to stitch on, but I just loved the way this piece looked so much, this piece of fabric, that I decided to do it on it. But it means I don't always love stitching on it, and I have to be in the right mood, because it's linen and I don't love linen. So I started this piece in August for my Black Cat birthday sale. I probably didn't do myself a favor by starting in the middle on this one, because I stitched the two things I love the best, the cat and the lady, and now it's become a bit of a chore, even though I love it. So it'll be good to have this as a focus thing and try and get some progress on it, because I don't want to abandon it. I love it too much, but yeah, it's big. I think it's bigger than I just kind of realized, and with the linen and everything, it's a harder one to stitch on for me. Don't know why exactly. Sampler Osha, which again is color, is the reason I'm picking this. I'm using a Sulky on this. Oh, let me show you the picture. This is a Jardin Privé pattern. When I found this pattern, I was so thrilled, because I see people stitching on samplers and I really like the way they look when other people are doing this, but I'm just really not attracted to them. I'm just not. And that's okay. But, you know, when I found this one and I loved it so much, I was so excited, because it is very much a sampler. It's got all the alphabets. It's got just the kind of disjointed little icons like samplers sometimes do. And I just really loved it. So I started in Sampler September last year, and I was just so excited to have it. There's the other, like, Cat Lovers Quaker or whatever. I don't know if it's even called Quaker, but there's a Cat Lovers pattern done by Jardin Privé that has Quakers. And that's another thing that people love, and I just am not drawn to, is the Quakers. But I like that one. So that may be a way for me to get into Quakers as well, is just to work on that Jardin Privé pattern. Ooh, okay, what's going on here? My needle minders are stuck together. Okay, that was magnets falling all over my floor. Okay, so I'm doing this on a 20 count Aida with Sulky thread, which is a combo that I found that I really, really like. And the other thing that's great about this pattern is it's really good to take when I go over to my brother's, which I'm doing like pretty much every other weekend, because, you know, you're not having to change colors very much. I do actually have 3 colors in here. I have the variegated one that's the main color, and then I'm stitching all the cats in the purple and all of the little kind of accenty animals like the fish and the little mice in pink. And because I'm taking this over to my brother's, I have it in my, I think this was my Valentine's gift from the kids this year. So cute. And it's just perfect to have it in this bag. And I have stitching glasses in it, which is how you know that it's a travel project sometimes, because I'm always paranoid I'm going to forget the stitching glasses. Hold on, I want to pick up these magnets. Because if I got over there and didn't have the stronger glasses that I use for stitching, no stitching would happen, which would be a shame. Okay, and then the last project that I have sort of as a focus piece for next month will be Bellatrix, which I just didn't want to have to put her down because I'm really, really loving her. This is by Bella Filipina. And, you know, her dress is magenta and she's got kind of a purple shawl. So, yeah, fits as far as I'm concerned. I haven't worked on it this past week. So you guys saw it last week. And I'm excited to keep moving with this one. Get more of that pretty dress. Get more of the cat and the window and the castle. So yeah, so that's my June plans. I have my June Year of Celebrations piece here ready to switch out when tomorrow night. And it'll go right there. And so yeah, that's about it for today. A little bit shorter video than normal. I hope that if you guys do have a holiday day tomorrow, you enjoy it. Memorial Day quite often is full of picnics and family get-togethers and appliance sales for some reason. But I hope that however you celebrate or don't celebrate, but I hope that you have a good day, however you choose to have it. For those of you who are not in a place where this is a holiday, I hope you have a good week and a good Monday, and I look forward to stitching next week and then seeing you again next Sunday. So until I do see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Bye, everybody.